92.
Good morning, Singapore, and welcome to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is Senior Consultant and a Medical Oncologist from Parkway Cancer Centre. Dr. Richard Quek is with us. Good morning, Dr. Quek.
Thanks for having me.
Good morning,
Good to have
Dr.
you here.
Quek.
Now, Parkway Cancer Centre is having an Adjusting to Changes Symposium that's taking place on the 23rd of March from 1:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. at Conrad Centennial, Singapore. Now, $5 is all it takes for you to gain entry and learn more about cancer and caregiving.
That's right.
So
yeah.
Angel is going to be there. She'll be hosting the symposium.
Yeah.
How important do you think is a symposium like this, Dr. Quek?
Oh, I see. I think this is a very important symposium for patients and caregivers. This is our annual flagship symposium that we hold once a year, and this year we took a slightly different focus on the topic. And we like to see it from a patient's perspective this time around, looking at it from a cancer journey's point of view, a patient's experience, what they have to go through, and the caregivers who are accompanying them, and what's necessary. And we try to arm them with the knowledge and the skill sets to tackle this journey.
I think that's very important to tackle it from both ends.
Yes.
Dr. Quek also incidentally will be the person that's... You've got the keynote address happening on that day. He'll be opening the event. And a few things that you will learn at the symposium is preparing and starting cancer treatment, what you can expect, managing fatigue during and post-treatment. There'll also be a panel discussion. There'll also be exercise, how you can exercise both physically and mentally.
Okay.
To create resilience for yourself and the caregiver, adjusting to life after cancer, and then work-life integration, how you can return to work. So it's a 3-hour symposium. It's $5. That refreshments will be included. There'll be a care pack as well. We encourage people who maybe know someone who has cancer or is looking after someone within their family or outside the family. There are many different ways that we can look at this.
And I think I also need to add that all proceeds will go to the Singapore Cancer Society.
That's right, for just $5.
So when we look at this symposium, we're going to learn about cancer, we're going to learn about the journey. How different is this from, say, your oncologist explaining what's going to happen to you?
Okay, so we have put together a program of 5 good speakers and bringing patients step by step through the whole cancer journey process, starting with the treatment. And a lot of times we hear the same questions, and very, very simple, very relevant, very pertinent questions, and we like to put it out there to get the information to the patient. And just think about it, one of the most common questions I get is, can I have lunch while I'm taking treatment? So something as simple as that.
Wow.
Where will I be headed to on the day of the treatment? Will I be seated? Will it be an injection? How do I feel? Can I drive back home? These are very pertinent questions. We may think it's very simple because we deal with it day in, day out, but for the patient, it's something very new.
Yeah.
And it's always nice to start off on the right footing for the patient. And it just makes things a lot easier for the caregiver and the patient.
So it really is a step-by-step. What do I wear? What do I eat before? What can I eat after? How will I feel?
That's right.
Right? Okay. Yeah,
Wow.
you're right. Simple stuff that we do on a daily basis.
But
We
so
just don't
important
think.
for people to know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because everything kind of becomes... because it's so new for someone who is just diagnosed
Of
with
course.
cancer. So, I mean,
Scary.
obviously, it's like, there'll be many, many, many questions indeed. And I think we've mentioned this from time to time that now I think the stats, it's 1 in 4.
1 in 4.
1 in 4 might come down with cancer. Knock on wood, of course.
Yeah,
we
knock on wood.
don't expect, we don't, hope.
Want this on anybody. Yeah.
Exactly. You see, it's almost like a little uncomfortable when we talk about
Yeah, because the numbers are
cancer.
high, 25%.
Yeah.
That's very, very high.
But the
Very,
truth
very-
is, I mean, it's a fact, and so it's better for us to be armed with some knowledge.
True.
Okay, let's continue to talk to Dr. Quek on The Big Show TV. Meantime, here's Megan Trainor with Made You Look on Kiss 92.
I could have my Gucci.
So, Dr. Quek, it's not just for somebody who's come down with cancer, who's been diagnosed with cancer. It's also for the person that's going to be looking after them, whether they are a family member, a caregiver that's been hired from another country. How important is it for those people to be at this Adjusting to Changes symposium?
Okay, I think that this session is catered to speak to the patient and the caregivers. because when a patient is taking treatment, the caregivers are actually doing quite a fair bit of the work, bringing the patient there, dealing with the side effects. And the symposium also takes one step further to talk about how to manage the side effects that come out of it, fatigue, for example. And further down the road for patients who are recovering, how to exercise, how to get back onto a fitness program, and then subsequently extension of that, how to reintegrate back to a work life. And along the way, as the patient journeys through cancer management, there'll be a lot of emotional hurts, there'll be some stress, there'll be some anxieties, physical impairment, and that's when the counsellor would like to talk about how to cope and how to adjust to a new norm. That's a section, adjusting to life after cancer, given by the counsellor. So very, very useful for the caregiver, how to support the patient, and the patient himself to understand, to be empowered of the stuff that may come along his way or her way.
Right.
Okay.
You know, we talk about patients, we talk about caregivers. I would imagine this would also be great for someone who doesn't have cancer now, but has a family history of it. Would it be?
I think it'll be useful information. Right now, it may not be 100% pertinent. He or she may not use every piece of information, but with the family history, then this person who attends it becomes also a caregiver in a sense, managing the emotional needs of the patient who had cancer in the past, because some issues may go on, some of the anxieties, some of the fears, and that's lifelong support or ongoing support that they might need.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's very useful.
I mean, this is also something people could do as colleagues, because some people will have colleagues that have been diagnosed with cancer as well, and it's good to be armed with the knowledge nonetheless, right? If you're wondering how much this will cost you and whether you can buy it on site, no, the answer is no, because you can buy your tickets online at eventbrite.sg. All proceeds for the ticket sales will go to the Singapore Cancer Society. Light refreshments will be served during the tea break. Your ticket will also come with a care pack that has further reading materials and some items sponsored, provided by the sponsors. So there are limited seats. So get online at eventbrite.sg to purchase your tickets, and tickets are on sale up until the time of the event, which is 23rd of March at 1:30.
That's right. It'll be Dr. Richard Quek
Opening
along with
address.
4 other doctors.
That's right, yeah.
Right?
There are 4 other doctors that are speaking.
5 other allied health
5
staff members.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
Okay.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, a good variety as well. You have a nurse manager who will be talking. You have a senior staff nurse. You also have someone from rehab who will be
Right.
talking about the exercise part of it. And then a senior counselor from Allied Health and a senior occupational therapist who will talk about returning to work after cancer.
And of course, I mean, there'll be a Q&A session, I'm sure.
Yes, there will
Okay.
be, yeah. So it's
Okay.
a good way to spend your Saturday afternoon. It's right after lunch, so get your belly full, you
Yeah.
know. You can go there, sit there, and get as much information as you need.
I think it's a great idea. If you want more sign-up information, it is in the comments section of our Facebook page.
Now, you're a medical oncologist. Let's talk about cancer.
Okay.
A little bit. You know, I had a friend whose mom was diagnosed with liver cancer, and, you know, at that point, the family felt like it was the end. You know, the doctors gave her a timeline, but she lived beyond that.
Okay.
Is that a common thing?
It's increasingly more common, and it's always a good thing. We try to prognosticate as best as we can, but we're never perfect.
Right.
And we always hope for the best.
Okay.
So liver cancer is not a good condition to have, but now increasingly more treatments that we have got, surgery, intervention, we have got systemic treatment medicines that can help to improve patients' condition.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say if we're talking about since we're talking about liver cancer, and I'm sure some people who are tuned in right now may be in that situation. If it comes to a situation, and this is also something that I've heard from another friend whose dad was diagnosed also with liver cancer. He was in another hospital, and he wanted to do a surgical procedure, but they said no. It's too risky, you know. And then he sought a second opinion, and he went somewhere else, and they were willing to do it. But they gave him a 50-50 situation. Why is it some places would rather not take on that risk, and other places
We'll say yes.
will be a bit more open to it.
So when it comes to surgery, a lot is down to technicality.
Okay.
Generally, in such circumstances, I would imagine that that the surgery is going to be close.
Yep.
It's not going to be a really clear cut. So that comes down to personal experience, comes down to judgment, and you got to make a call. Sometimes that's the best option that you can take, and therefore you take it with the understanding that there's some risks involved.
Right. But when it's a 50-50, it's like, in the end, he opted not to go for it. And so,
Okay.
I mean, he's living life to the fullest right now and enjoying the rest of his time,
What
so
he
to speak.
has,
Because
Yeah.
no matter what's said, at the end of the day, it is your decision whether you want it or not.
Kiss 92 traffic.
On the SLE towards the CTE, right before Lentor Avenue's exit, a vehicle has broken down. Also on the SLE, but this time towards the BKE at the Turf Club exit, another vehicle has broken down. If you have any other news for us, the number is 8855-0920.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is Dr. Richard Quek, Senior Consultant, Medical Oncology at Parkway Cancer Centre. Once again, thank you so very much for joining us this morning, Doctor.
So, Doctor, I know everything that I'm about to say is going to be covered, or everything you're about to say is going to be covered in this symposium on the 23rd of March. Once again, you can sign up at eventbrite.sg. It is, or parkwaycancercentre.com.sg as well for more information. It's just $5 and all proceeds will go to Singapore Cancer Society. But what I wanted to say is, can you give us a little bit of a sneak peek, more of a sneak peek as to why people should go and what people will hear when they're there?
Okay, happy to do so. So this is our annual flagship symposium for Parkway Cancer Centre. For the last many years, we are focusing on, what's the best treatment, what is the optimal, latest in technology, proton, CAR-T. But this year, we thought we'll take a different slant, and we'd like to look at the whole situation from a patient's perspective, and to journey with them when they first start, some of the side effects they're going to get within, let's say, the first few weeks, what to expect with terms of exercise, can they go back to the gym, adjusting to life after cancer, living with cancer, and also for those who do well, who survive, they're cancer survivors, how they integrate back into the workforce. So there are 5 main segments, and we're going to deep dive into each of the segments and give patients as much hints, as much knowledge as we can based on what we know.
Well, you mentioned about fitness and going to the gym. People
Yes.
who don't have cancer are too lazy to go to the gym. I can't imagine like someone who's
That's
diagnosed with cancer who's going to be disciplined enough to follow the doctor's orders
Yeah.
and
Get
as
fit.
you mentioned just now, the new norm, right?
Yeah.
Change their lifestyle. Diet changes. They have to also look at getting fitter. So, I mean, is that very common that that cancer patients are actually asked to remain active and continue to go to the gym and
Actually,
stuff
what's
like
more
that?
common is the other scenario whereby patients are very active to begin with, and because of the cancers, because of the physical impediment, or whatever reasons they have because of chemo, they may not be able to be as active as in the past.
Right.
And they wish to go back, and they're not certain whether they should plunge into it directly or should they do a warm up, brisk
Right.
walk, that kind of thing, grading up to a gym session. So each exercise regimen is very individualized. Imagine a patient with a leg surgery
Right.
versus someone with a lumpectomy or removal of lump somewhere else.
Right.
So quite different scenarios. So for the first, maybe we shouldn't be pounding on the gym because of a limb surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in terms of stamina after chemotherapy, how much can you do? How much should you do? These are common questions we get, and they should be individualized, and we'll get some hints on the day itself.
All right. So if you're
Okay.
listening right now and you've been lazing around, not wanting to go to the gym and all that, just think about all these other people, right? Who, despite being in that condition, are still wanting to go back to the gym.
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. Doctor, when we go on the Big Show TV, I want to ask you, for someone like myself who knows no one who's not related to anyone with cancer, knock on wood, I want to know why I need to be there at this symposium.
Okay, it's 8:15.
Kiss 92 time check.
So with the numbers getting higher in terms of people being diagnosed with cancer. 1 in 4 is what we're expecting. Eventually, we'll all know somebody who has cancer.
Yeah.
But if for someone like myself who doesn't have an immediate circle of friends or family with cancer, I'm going to be there by default because I'm hosting the event. But why should I sign up and go?
Okay, so anyone who attends a symposium will take back home something useful and relevant, either in the course of your work interactions with colleagues, family members, because ultimately we will get to know somebody with cancer. 1 in 4 is no small number in Singapore these days. And this symposium itself is wide enough to talk about specifics in relation to treatment, as well as more general things like coping with cancer, how to support your colleague, how to support your relative emotionally and physically as they journey through cancer. And that's always good information to have. And so maybe to understand how we can also contribute back to the community in terms of work reintegration programs that's available, what we can do if there's anything to help patients. So
Okay.
Something for everyone.
So it is for everyone then.
Yeah.
It
It's
is.
for
It
everyone.
really is
Would you
spread across the
encourage children? I mean, of course, of a certain age, but would you encourage families to come? Say, kids are in their teens and all that. Parents want to bring them, or I mean, is this something that they can learn as well?
I think so. Teens should be no problem. Teens are mature, not an issue, and teens. Some of the teens are the patients.
Yeah.
Right.
So some of the teens are the patients. So because I treat quite a fair number of teens as well with young persons' cancers. The teens also sometimes see their parents or their grandparents going through the cancer journey. And it's always good for them to understand what the patient is going through. Why is grandma nauseous? Why is grandma feeling sick? What can I do? That kind of thing. So that will be useful. I completely agree with that.
Okay. So that's something for everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so once again, the details for the cancer, what's it called? The Adjusting to Changes Symposium. This is happening on the 23rd of March. It's a Saturday, right after lunch, so you can go and fill up your tummies first, and at 1:30, head down to Conrad Centennial, Singapore. You have to pre-register. Tickets are at $5. It goes on for 3 hours, and you can go to parkwaycancercentre.com/SG to find out details and to get your tickets.
Now, Dr. Quek, I mean, cancer is no longer a death sentence. I mean, we've mentioned this before. How much more advanced is cancer treatment now compared to 10 years ago?
Oh, that's huge, I would say. Every decade we see a seismic change, a paradigm shift in the way we treat, and each time we improve survival by a significant number. And I've been in this field for more than 2 decades, and I can see the big jump each decade that we strive for. A lot different. The way we approach used to be rather pessimistic, let's say 20 years ago, but now no longer. And patients and doctors alike are fairly optimistic. Again, there are some cancers which are not curable. I take that, I accept that. But we have certainly a lot of strategies to make patients, to control the cancers and make patients live for as long as possible and as good as possible.
Okay.
So a very different kind of era, say 1 or 2 decades ago.
Right.
Anything exciting coming up? I mean, in terms of technology and new sort of research that has popped up that we can look forward to?
Actually, plenty. 1 decade ago, we were looking at targeted therapy. So
Targeted therapy.
Targeted. So just like COVID, we were looking for where the mutations are, then we find the drugs to target it. And it was great. We get good responses. But a lot of times it's not durable. The cancer cells change. Similar to COVID, they mutate, and then it comes again. Then in the last decade, we are looking at immunotherapy, how you can configure your immune system, recognize the cancer, and get more longevity and durability to cancer treatment. This decade, we are looking at preventive therapy, using the same drugs, how to prevent it. Personalized vaccines are on the horizon. So these are exciting medicines. Radiation-wise, we have got quite a few proton machines in Singapore, 3 in number, and that delivers good radiation with much lower toxicities. In the blood cancer world, we have also got CAR-T that's available now for the last maybe year and a half or so.
What is that?
Essentially, a technology meant for blood cancers at this point in time, removing the white cells of the patients, reprogram it to recognize the cancer, deliver it back into the patient for it to home in on the cancer.
I think we heard about this a couple of weeks ago.
I think
with,
so.
I think it was for the guy from Lucens. Dr. Tan, I think, was talking about a little bit about that as well.
Yeah.
Targeting, wow.
Right.
Incredible. Can you imagine taking all your little white blood cell soldiers to come out,
exactly.
retraining them and then sending them back in?
Tremendous.
Incredible.
It's
Incredible.
unreal. It's
I mean, if you can do something like immunotherapy for cancer, are we seeing perfectly healthy human beings in the future then? Because then you can, build your immunity up to never be sick again. You know what I mean? I mean, if this can be done for cancer, can it be done for everything else then?
Okay, so that's a very
I
good
know it's
question.
tough question.
Tough questions. The immune system needs to be tightly controlled. Not too much, not too little. Too little, then the body becomes unable to recognize foreign invaders like cancers, say infection. But if it's too much, then patients will get autoimmune illnesses.
Oh,
like
that is what
lupus.
I see.
Too much of it, yeah.
Oh.
So the side effect of immunotherapy is exact opposite. Too much of it gives you
Autoimmune.
autoimmune illnesses.
I did not know that.
That's
Okay.
why I see.
Okay.
Okay, question. I'm going to sound really silly. Immune therapy. Can you explain that a bit?
It's a broad term. It's essentially harnessing the immune system of the body
Right.
to kill the cancer. This is the most popularly known. So how do you unleash your own immune? How do you wake your own immune system up? It's essentially using a drug these days.
Right.
So
Okay.
you infuse the medicine in. You give it once a month, once every 3 weeks, and basically it lightens or it loosens the rein on the immune system and let it rise, recognize the antigens, recognize the foreign invaders, and let it do its job.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Wow.
And these days you can personalize it. You can take the cancer cells out. The way we made our COVID vaccine, you can personalize it. In fact, it's from the same company that produced it, and then use it on the patient.
Wow.
Wow.
So that's the incoming
Personalized.
era.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Well, that's quite something.
So I'm sure you've been asked this question time and time again, Doctor. What is the reason people come down with cancers? What's the cause of cancer? What can we do
To
to
stop
reduce
it.
our risk? Is it stress? Is it our diet? Should we all just quit our jobs and go live on an
On the
island
beach.
somewhere and
Live on
enjoy
the beach.
ourselves?
Okay, so if you follow the literature, they say that about 30% of cancers can be related to lifestyle factors,
Yeah.
smoking, unhealthy diet, weight gain, obesity. So 30% controllable, 70% not so controllable. Now we know that why cancers form. We know certain mutations cause this cancer, and we are quite good at it, and we can target it. But the next question is what caused the mutation? Why is this person so unlucky to develop the mutation? And that one we haven't answered.
The trigger.
Okay.
The trigger.
The trigger.
The trigger, yes.
All right.
Okay, we're going to go back on
You should
on
ask
air.
that again. That's
One
very
last
good.
time.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just ask you that question
Yeah.
to close everything. Of course, we'll sell the symposium.
Yeah,
one
for
more
sure.
time as well.
I can't find a post, my heart won't start anymore.
Kiss 92 traffic.
Quite a few situations. The first is on Brattle Road towards Bartley after Marymount Road. Avoid the right lane. An accident has been reported. Also in the SLE towards the CTE, right before the TPE exit, causing quite a bit of backup till the Lento Avenue exit. Avoid the rightmost lane. That's lane 1. Another accident has been reported. Also on the AYE towards the MCE before the Portsdown Avenue exit. Also avoid lane 1. A vehicle has broken down. Wherever you are today, stay safe.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is the Senior Consultant, Medical Oncology, Parkway Cancer Centre, Dr. Richard Quek. And on The Big Show TV, I was asking Dr. Quek, basically, I mean, what he thinks is the reason for people coming down with cancer. And I did say also, should we all quit our jobs and just go live on an island and breathe in fresh air and eat healthy stuff? What do you think, Doctor?
So studies have shown that about a third of the cancers can be due to external factors, and those are controllable. For example, smoking, drinking, obesity, betel nut chewing, so on and so forth.
Betel nut chewing. Oh, wait,
Well, that's
hold
a new
on.
one.
What do you
Yeah.
mean?
That's a new one.
Betel nut chewing is a known cause of oral cancers.
Oh.
So thankfully, we have very low rates of betel nut chewing in this country, but in our neighboring countries, that's actually quite high.
We just had some in our dessert yesterday. The pan, that's what they call it, because they chew
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the leaf
with
and
the
they put we just had
Really?
some.
But what is the...
It's carcinogenic then,
Yes, it's
too much.
carcinogenic,
of it.
yeah.
As in the beetle nut?
Yes.
But that's like a lot of stuff. I mean, you use too much hairspray, or you breathe in aerosols as well, things like that. Too much meat as well can be carcinogenic as well, they've said, right?
Yes, that's right.
Burning your meat as well.
Yep. Charred
Charred meat.
charred meat, yeah.
Yeah.
So 30%, you can do something about
Okay.
it. So the remaining 70%, sometimes you can't do so much about it due to mutations, due to external factors, and so that's the group that it's still uncertain. We know that certain mutations can cause the cancer. So typically, the usual scenario we get is a Asian female non-smoker developing lung cancer.
Right.
Wow.
So clearly, it's not smoking related. So it's some form of mutation that happens. So we know how to identify the mutation, how to target the mutation. But the bigger question that we are working on now is, why did the mutation happen? Why is this person so unlucky to develop the mutation? And for that, we don't have an answer yet, as yet.
Right.
Not yet. They're
Not yet.
working on it.
Well, some people have explanations for that because their immune system is down, because they're unhappy in their lives.
Yeah.
Every day, you know, they're
So it's
they're
stress
negative,
related.
and so it's stress related, and so it's easy for them to. But of course, I mean, this is not exactly the
Yeah.
the reason,
reason
right?
that it happens,
But
yeah.
everybody seems to have some kind of explanation for it. But
More
I
of
mean,
an excuse, maybe.
exactly.
All right, we've been speaking to Dr. Richard Quek, who will be doing the opening address at the Adjusting to Changes Symposium, which is happening on the 23rd of March. This is a Saturday from 1:30 to 4:30 p.m. at the Conrad Centennial Singapore. I'll be there hosting and helping moderate this event as well. Tickets are at $5 each, and all proceeds will go to the Singapore Cancer Society. So if you know someone who's just been diagnosed with cancer, you have a family member who is at stage 4 maybe, or even if you're a caregiver or know a colleague who's going through something, this is for you. You can sign up at parkwaycancercentre.com/SG.
Or if you just want to find out more about cancer,
You may not know anyone at
and
all.
be armed with the knowledge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Dr. Quek and the rest of the panelists will be more than happy to take your questions on that day, I'm sure. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Quek, for joining us today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Okay, that's it.
Thank
How long?
you.
That was
Okay.
half an
Half an
hour.
hour.
Yeah, that's
That was
right.
half an
I didn't feel like it at all.
And we thought we couldn't chat.
Yeah.
Let's take a photo.
Yeah, let's take
Okay,
a photo before
great.
you go.
My friends are.
I didn't even see the ladies in the back.
need to move to a bigger studio.
I think so. You can come through this way if you want.
Okay. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah,
Thanks.
you too.
Bye. See ya.
Bye.
Okay, we got our next two guests coming in.
Lucas and Christopher. Who's Lucas? Who's Christopher?
Hi, Lucas.
Hi.
Chris.
Hello, legend. Good to see you.
We will set you up.
Okay, you guys are both there. The screen, the Facebook Live is already going. So
There you go. So y'all be
you
there.
can come. You want to come in? You want to come? Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hello, Zosan, Zosan.
Hi.
Come. Oh, you?
Yeah, should be. Cannot?
Cannot.
Oh, you just have to be told.
Just tilt that up.
Okay.
No, we'll adjust, lah. No problem.
Basically, it
She's
should
getting
be
one more. She's getting one more.
it should be about that distance from your mouth.
like this.
Yeah, just keep it in close, and as long as you're not
that's
touching
good,
it,
yeah.
you're
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
And once you put your headphones on, no problem, because then you'll automatically be able to adjust,
Volumes.
I see.
Because if you go too far, you it's a bit soft. Then if you go
Alright.
closer.
We're going to clear our throat. Just like
Yeah,
a bit, right?
literally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got quite a bit to clear.
Better?
Yes, thank you.
You don't feel like a giant, right? Oh, we're going to talk interiors, one of my
Oh my
favorite
God.
topics. I
Yeah, it's one of my
love
favorite topics. It's
interiors.
my favorite part whenever I buy a house. It's like the ID part.
Hang on. Okay.
Going on it? Okay.
Destiny's Child with Lose My Breath, meaning death.
Oh,
No, I don't know.
maybe it's just from being on stage for too long, or you take my breath away. How about that? It's so negative.
Okay, anyway, our next guests on the show are from Waken.com. We have Lucas Ngan, the manager, as well as the senior designer, Christopher Tan, with us. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. You would all recognize the name because it goes Waken.com. So, guys, okay, you guys are from Waken.com. I think the first question to ask is lots of people are renovating their houses and all that, but not many people know the difference between a contractor and an interior designer. Are they one and the same, or are they two separate people?
In the terms of contractor, right, they basically follow what you tell them to do. So if you were to approach a contractor, you got to be very certain of your material knowledge. You got to know what you want, what you need, and also have the time to actually manage them, because they can come in many separate pieces.
Oh, right,
Correct.
okay. So
I've
they're the guys that
experienced
break
the
everything
good,
down.
the bad, and the ugly.
For
So, for example,
contractors?
if you don't want to hire an interior decorator, you think you can do a job just with the contractor, that means you then become the
The
interior
interior designer,
you're
right,
the- you-
okay.
you become the designer. But
Not
here's-
ideal.
So I've always looked at it as contractor uses the hammer, interior designer uses the pencils to make sure the hammer hammers in the right places.
That makes sense.
Is that a good
Yeah,
analogy?
That's basically what it is, right?
Okay.
But
okay.
and I had this when I got my house. How do I find a good interior designer? What am I supposed to look for?
Just go to Waken.com.
Yeah, I mean that one we know.
Step one.
Yeah,
But
step
what are
one.
the questions to ask? You
Yeah,
know,
what
I
are
mean,
the
not,
questions?
not a lot of people know this, right?
In the terms of the question to ask, right, I think number one is to firstly know what you want in the first place before even heading out to look for anybody.
Right.
So having your floor plan, of course, that's number one when you visit a designer or a contractor, whichever. And at the same time, is also having images of what you think are suitable for you, because a lot of our clients, they come to us, they come with the idea like, hey, I want ABC, but end of the day they actually want something else.
CDF.
Yeah, they want CDF. So as to find the right designer, you got to be sure that they are able to help you diagnose the problem instead of purely prescribing whatever you are giving to them. I think that's one of the... They got to challenge you, basically.
Okay,
So let's say I
right.
go to you, okay, Waken.com. I have no idea whatsoever.
Yeah.
I'm that kind of client. I have no idea. I want you guys to help me out. I give you my floor plan. You guys come to my house and have a look and all that. And then can you come up with a few ideas for me?
Yep. So,
This is Christopher Tan, by the way, the senior designer at Waken.com.
yeah, hi everyone. So in terms of process, one thing I like to do is that, because most of the time clients and customers, they have no idea what they want. So I would prepare like what we call a mood board with all the different interior design styles. So through there you can look through and then you can start shortlisting what you like. So from there, for me as a designer, then I'll be able to better understand what you're looking for, because as Lucas mentioned, sometimes the customers say they want ABC, but turns out they want CDF.
Right.
So having that mood board and giving customers that thing to see beforehand would help them realize that they actually want CDF and not ABC.
I see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we are speaking to Lucas Ngan, the manager at Waken.com, as well as Christopher Tan, the senior designer from Waken.com. Please continue to watch us and listen to us. It's going to get really, really interesting. It's 8:35.
So, when it comes to picking an ID company or an interior designer, should I be looking out for someone who already has experience in the kind of designs I like? Say, I want minimalist Scandinavian, or I want like some classical sort of retro 70s. Should I pick somebody who already has experience doing that, or is it okay to go with someone that I just like? Do you know what I mean? That doesn't have any experience doing, say, the Scandinavian minimalist.
I think when you're meeting interior designers, trying to shortlist, maybe you can meet a few different ones.
Okay.
So like maybe the first one, you meet someone who has experience doing the style that you like.
Okay.
Then maybe the second one, you meet someone that has a totally different perspective to the interior design style.
Okay.
So that's where you might have difference in terms of design thinking, and you might like that innovation. Because sometimes if you say that you like Japandi or Scandinavian, and if you go to someone who has already done that many times, you might find that the designs are repeated.
Oh, very tired already.
Correct.
Okay, yeah.
So when you approach someone that has not done it before, maybe not done as much, they might combine some other design thinkings into Japandi.
Okay.
And making it more unique and more fun. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a good perspective.
Yeah, because I remember when we were designing our house, my wife went, "I want Zen." And even I looked at her and went, "Hello?" That's
So
not how
nothing
you,
in the house, huh? Nothing
no,
in the
that's
house.
not how
Some
you
sand.
explain what you want in the house, right?
You went
I
Zen.
would suddenly thought I had sand in the house and little patterns in the sand and all that.
Yeah, your little fork to create.
But it's language. To her, Zen was minimalist.
Yes, there you see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Language.
No,
So
nothing
nothing in the house will be the Zenist.
I tell you, if we could manage it, even I would want that because it's less to dust. But if I were to say to you Zen, you would describe Zen in one way and design it. Another company would design it another way. So that's what you're saying. Use the same concept but go to different people.
Shop around.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it easier to renovate a house or start with a blank canvas?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something that's, because a lot of people are buying resale flats, you know, or they're buying over an old house and they want to redo the whole thing. Or is it easier just go into like a BTO, everything's blank, and start from there?
I think in terms of project complexity,
And cost maybe?
and cost, especially on cost, resale projects where you got to tear down everything and redo pretty much with a blank canvas, that's definitely more difficult to do or more difficult to execute. But to an experienced designer, I think the physical execution is not that difficult, because after doing for many years and some even decades, they are pretty repeated in terms of process. You got to follow step A and then you go to B and to C and to D. But when it comes to BTOs, then generally those are a little more straightforward, because most people, they get a BTO. Some just want to move out in 5 years after the MOPs. So
Yeah.
your
Don't tell anyone
layouts,
that.
so your layouts become generally a bit more standard in a sense.
Right,
But
yeah,
at the same
simplified,
time,
yeah.
at the same time, we have encountered cases where BTO projects, there are clients that are very open with tearing things down.
A lot of people are doing that, right? They're like ripping all the walls down so they have a wide open space.
Pretty much. So at least, or minimally combining 2 rooms. So I think that's where the fun part kicks in. Where you can play around with things that are a bit more creative and not so much of a cookie cutter design. And
Nice.
that's where the interior designer comes in.
Right. Now, Lucas, I want to ask you this question. Tell us a little bit more about Waken.com. Okay, we go on air and we can talk about Waken, okay?
Feel my heart's intention. Hold on when I'm in there. I left my consciousness in the 6th dimension. Left my soul in his vision. Let's go get it. Let's go get it.
Kiss 92 traffic.
On the ECP towards the city after Still Road South's exit, a vehicle has broken down. Also on the AYE towards the MCE after the CTE exit, another vehicle has broken down. And finally on Brattle Road towards Bartley after Marymount Road, please avoid the right lane if you're heading down that stretch. An accident has occurred there. Stay safe.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. We have two gentlemen with us in the studio. They are from Waken.com. Lucas Ngan, the manager, as well as Christopher Tan, the senior designer at Waken.com. Now, Lucas, I want to ask you, since you're the manager at Waken.com, what makes Waken stand out, from the other companies out there? And Waken is an interior design company.
Yes, Weekend is an interior design company. So I think one part that stands out is our jingle. That's for one.
Yeah. Oh my God, everyone
Somehow
remembers
a
that.
lot of people, they come in and first thing they look at
Waken.com.
me. I'm like, all right, yeah, we got it. Yeah, I think in terms of what difference, we are one of the most established in the market locally since 1996. So that's a good 28 over years. I think that shows the commitment in terms of the company in maintaining in this industry as a whole. Because a lot of people, they come into this, honestly the barrier to entry to this line is pretty low. That's where it attracts a lot of people that come in and just hit and go. So there is a lot of opacity in this market, even though it has been much, much better the past few years.
Yeah.
So as a more established company, I think that's where we can maintain the trust and also honor things like our warranty. Because
Yep.
end of the day, you can only give warranty if you are actively still in business.
Of
right?
course, yeah.
So I think that's one of the part that stands out. And of
Yeah.
course, the people within us are we try to get the best in the market to do the designs and the project management for our clients.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you've been around so long. Here's a question: is it a general practice, or is it not? Do interior designers come with contractors? In other words, I go to you to design. Do you appoint the contractor? Is that a norm?
You want to appoint your own contractor? I mean, I'm just asking.
No.
I would hope so. I would hope the
hope so.
interior designer
Is that
designers
Handles
handle everything.
everything.
Is that how it works?
Yes, as an interior designer, we basically handle everything for you.
Turnkey project.
Correct,
basically.
turnkey project. I think that's the right word. But at the same time, we do exercise certain flexibility. We do understand some customers, they do have some of their own contacts, especially in the current market where there are a lot of people that are selling doors by themselves, they sell windows by themselves. So as much as possible, we try to accommodate our client requirements.
But is it ideal for you guys, though?
Not all the time.
Not all the
Not all the
time,
time.
yeah.
Because I think firstly is in terms of project management. When they are not under sort of our umbrella of contractors, then there's always that risk where they do not come on time, they do not fix on time, and there's always a effect on every other things.
And you don't bring your doors back, your windows back, then there's a problem,
That's a
right?
big
Correct.
problem.
And
You
clients
got no
will
door in my
complain,
house.
oh yeah,
It's
how
Waken.com
come
that did
it's
it, right?
taking so
Yes,
long?
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
With all the delays.
So the other thing I would like to know is when we look at an interior designer, we've got the contract, we've got all that. When we go and see you, we have a budget. We know roughly what we want to spend. How do we buffer that budget? How much should the buffer be? Is there a figure?
I
Is
think
there
there-
a percentage?
I think in terms of budgets, there are some general guidelines. For 3-room BTOs, it's like 30k, 4 rooms like 40k, 5 rooms 50k, and so on and so forth. For resale, then it's a bit more. You just maybe add 10 to 15k for each size of the house.
Right.
Okay.
But I think more important than that is for you to first understand on your own how much you're willing to spend.
Yeah.
So let's just say that even if the budget is 30k for a 3-room BTO, but you're only willing to spend 25k.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that it's important to know that and then communicate that to the designer. And I feel that is our responsibility as the designer to then figure out how to renovate according to your budget. Yeah.
So that
Right.
should be one of the first things that you state going into an interior designer. I have $10,000. I want this style. Tell me what I can do. And then you guys try and work it all out within that budget, right?
Correct. So in terms of the process, diving into details, a budget is something that we always ask in the first meeting. And typically I ask that question after I've understood all the requirements.
Okay.
And typically we provide a quotation A and B. So quotation A is everything that we've discussed, and in the event that it exceeds your budget, then we'll come up with a quotation B where we help you streamline certain things that you can remove to come down back to your comfortable budget.
Okay,
Right,
okay,
right,
got
okay,
it. Okay.
okay.
So you don't
Okay.
really need those gold taps in the end, right?
Yeah.
So like the fake gold taps.
But do you guys kind of like go out shopping with the clients, for example? I
To
mean,
choose
for
stuff?
fittings, because they want a specific type of, let's say, tap or
Wallpaper,
toilet.
toilets. Yeah, yeah.
You know what I
Yes, we
mean?
do. We
You do. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Right. Is this a one-stop for Waken.com or
One stop
is
shop.
everything there at your your
We do
shop?
not sell gold taps and toilet bowls.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But we do have shops that we are familiar with, we are comfortable working with, that we can bring our clients so that they can know what is the best value around in the market.
Okay.
Alright.
So on that point, we don't just give advice on the design part of the renovation, but also all these other accessories,
purchases.
the
Right.
other purchases. Where at least we can help to make sure, okay, what you're getting is something that we think is suitable.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so exciting to
It
renovate.
is, I'm sure.
Your
yeah,
home.
yeah.
And of
it
course,
is.
I designed the home as well.
Yeah.
It's something that I love.
Yeah. yeah.
Over the years,
a good process.
I've owned a few homes, and that's the most exciting part for me.
Yeah.
Anyway, where are you guys located?
We are located in Trade Hub 21 and also in Oxley Biz Hub 2.
Oh, okay. Find out a little bit more about unexpected costs on the Big Show TV.
Meantime, here's Lei and Lauv. Turn back to you on Kiss 92.
So I think this would be a gripe for a lot of people. You've got your budget down. Interior designer says can do. You've picked all your materials, this and that, this and that. Sometimes people might be hit with hidden costs. Are there any common unexpected costs, not hidden, unexpected costs that people can expect?
I think one of the most common unexpected costs is the condition of the electrical works and also the condition of the plumbing. So a lot of these are derived from the initial lack of information. So for instance, if a customer comes to us and like, hey, I have a resale house that we're looking to renovate based on this works. And I want to keep the bathrooms intact because bathroom can be rather expensive to tear down when we do. So I'm like, oh, all right, let's keep that. And we pushed up the budget to max out your feature wall or cabinets within the living room. Then by the time you get the keys, we step in and realize that, hey, the toilet is actually leaking. Or there are a lot of fungus within the tiles that is very, very difficult to clean off. And end of the day, realize it's not suitable to retain anymore. So those are one of the hidden costs, so to say, or at least things that it's a bit hard to see.
So
ahead.
stuff that's within the walls almost.
Correct, stuff that's
Yeah.
within the wall,
Yeah.
the boring stuff basically.
Yeah.
The boring stuff, but the vital stuff as well. A lot of people want to stinge.
It's what you don't see, it
what I
doesn't
need
matter,
to change,
right?
I change. What I don't need to change, I don't change. What I don't see, maybe I don't change. No, that's
Yeah,
the worst.
yeah.
Piping in the
Oh
walls.
my gosh, it's the worst.
It's best to ask your interior designer to get the plumbers
Plumber.
to check and see whether they're still in good condition. The moment it's a bit old, you better change everything when it comes to piping.
So for example, for something like that, you mentioned, like I want to do everything in the house, but let's leave the bathrooms alone because, as you said, the cost is high. Is that one of the first things we should be talking about? Get a plumber in, can you check the piping, and then we decide if we should redo the bathroom or not, at least do the piping.
I think generally when we step into the house for site visits, we'll be able to tell rather clearly from signs and symptoms of leaks. For instance, you have patches along the ceiling, you have or moldy ceilings, then that's often a case where you may have some drips happening on top. And that's where we do some of the checks. But I think one of the other sort of unexpected costs, which is related to aesthetics, is how smooth customers expect walls to be.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's not technically structural. That does not affect your quality of living, so to say. But there are, especially resale houses, there are a lot of customers say, oh, I want to build the best cabinets, the nicest finishing. But the moment they step into a house, they realize, hey, I can still see the bricks on my walls.
Oh, right.
Especially for older units. We commonly see this in like Red Hill, Queenstown. So those are costs that can add on quite easily. And that's why we always suggest an overall 10 to 15% buffer for your project for unforeseen circumstances like this.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. How long should renovations take? I mean,
How
If
big
you-
is your house?
I know.
that's not
but let's talk what the majority have, which are your HDBs. You know,
say a 4-room.
yeah. How long would people have to buffer? Because people have to rent or stay somewhere with their in-laws, or they have to plan. How much time should they put aside for that for renovation?
I think generally you're looking at about 2 to 3 months.
2 to 3 months.
2 to
Okay.
3 months.
Okay.
Of course, if you have, I think this is also an important point for a lot of listeners is, if you need to move out of your current house by X date, you got to put that up front
You
really,
need to tell the
early.
designers.
Because if you got to tear down your other house and you only left with 1 month to before you get evicted, right? Then you got to put that up front, and we as a designer will try to figure out for you, what can we do for phase 1, what can we do for phase 2.
Oh, okay. So then move in, and then we can do some other stuff once you've moved in, kind of thing.
Possibly.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I think I think when you said that, you kind of like hit home with quite a number of people, because I think many people are caught in that
For
situation.
sure, yeah. They don't think, renovation easy, it should be done in 3 weeks, So I'm sure you've had some ridiculous demands, right, from clients.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like they have to move in by this particular date.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I myself, my very first home is like I moved in. And then they still had not completed a few things. So while I shifted in, right, they took another like 3 days to complete the house.
Okay, that's not so
I had to
bad,
live in a house that was like all dusty and stuff.
Any sort of nightmare
This is
stories?
Cheyenne, ladies and gentlemen. Since you've been seeing her,
Up and down. She's
up and down.
constantly moving
Cheyenne,
today,
show
right?
everyone your face, Cheyenne. There you go, Cheyenne.
Any nightmare stories you can share?
For whom?
They, like, where your clients?
Oh, yeah.
For them?
Of course,
Well,
it's a
they won't
nightmare.
have any
No, of course, there are
nightmares.
nightmare stories. I'm sure there are.
I think one is when I renovated a resale house that was really old. So when we were tearing down the walls or hacking down the tiles, we realized that
A dead body was in the back.
Oh,
Some skeleton.
because, for example, when we were tearing down the tiles for the kitchen and it's back to back with the living room,
Yeah.
and because the walls are so old, when we hack away the tiles in the kitchen, it caused cracks in the
living room.
Oh my goodness.
So that happened for like the toilets in the
All the walls.
all the walls.
Was this a
no.
landed? Was it a landed?
No, it's a resale condominium. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so then there was a lot of additional cost involved to patch up these things, and then the owners was upset, and then the owner, because they don't really understand that sometimes these old walls could give way, they thought that we didn't do the job properly and all that. So
Okay.
these are some common misunderstandings that we'll have to iron out with the owners and to explain to them patiently how all these processes can cause such things,
Right.
especially when the house is old.
So do you preempt them before you start any work? You know what I mean? Because you know the old houses have that risk. Do you tell them that first so they can kind of expect it? Or do you just hope, and pray that the walls don't come apart and then tell them after?
We do our best to preempt as much as we can based on our experience, but
You
because
can't
renovation
preempt
is so
everything.
complex and there's so many details and so many little things involved, we can't preempt everything. There's no way to foresee everything.
Yeah.
So just now you mentioned hidden costs. I think it's also important for customers to differentiate between hidden and unforeseen costs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Unforeseen. cost.
Unforeseen. Yeah, because you can't help if the wall's going to come apart.
Yeah.
But you also get that some clients are going to go, oh, y'all were hitting too hard, or
But that's scary, man.
It
Can you imagine? I
is.
mean, a few cracks in the house after just trying to
All the walls?
to take one wall. Can you maybe it could have affected like the unit downstairs or the unit
below
upstairs as well.
Yeah.
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 How old was this condo? How
1974.
badly built was it?
No, because sometimes it's the paint layer that cracks.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's
okay.
not necessarily the
wall.
structural
I
integrity of
see.
the walls. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Because we say it's a structural integrity of the wall, then it's a bit disturbing.
A
Yeah,
little bit
correct,
scary.
correct.
A little bit scary. Eddie has come across on our Facebook page, and he said, and we mentioned this earlier, pictures and floor plans. Is there anything else that a client or a customer should bring to you at that first meeting, other than the floor plan and say 1 or 2 pictures of what I'm looking for?
I think generally for a first meeting with the floor plan, the existing images of the house, and also reference images of what a customer think is suitable for them would be generally sufficient for a first
Okay.
meeting.
But pictures of the house as it is now.
Correct,
So
as
if
it
it's
is.
brand new and it's just a hollow empty shell, bring that as well. Pictures of that as well.
In the current market, a lot of the brand new houses, they have a VR tour.
Right.
So especially condominiums, they
Yeah.
would have a virtual reality tour for
Right.
for some of the houses.
Yeah.
Those would be very helpful in giving us context. End of the day, it's all about context of how it is right now, what is already provided, and whether what is provided is suitable for you.
Okay. Okay.
And as for the reference images, right, sometimes we get questions like, hey, isn't that something that my designer should prepare for me?
I was about to ask.
Yeah, but yes, a designer is supposed to prepare some of this for you. But at the same time, it's also to assist you as a customer to communicate what you have in your mind into pictures that
You need to know the taste,
yeah,
right?
just like we
Right.
mentioned about Zen, but
What is Zen?
What
Yeah.
is Zen? Is it
Yeah.
an empty
Yeah.
house or is it a woody house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
yeah.
we'll go on air one last time. Last talk set. Here we go. Post Malone and Sway Lee, Sunflower, right here on Kiss 92, all the great songs in one place. We have with us in the studio Lucas Ngan, manager at Waken.com, as well as Christopher Tan, the senior designer there. We've been talking about, contractors, we've been talking about hidden costs, unforeseen costs.
Interior design.
Interior design.
Yeah.
I just want to say that we've heard about you guys for the longest time, and I'm sure you've had many happy customers, and you've won many awards as well. Waken.com. Why is it so important at Waken to keep your customers happy, or your clientele happy, rather?
Because we believe most Singaporeans do not stay in one house and stay there all the way.
Yeah, so they come back to
So
you.
they come back to us.
That is
It's
true.
a very common occurrence that I do. Clients of house that they did 5-6 years ago,
Yes.
and they come back to me.
It's so
And-
important, that trust,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure. Christopher, I just want to ask you a final question. What are some of the trends that you see in interior design now? Whether it's an BTO or an HDB or private, landed, whatever it is. What are some of the trends?
I'm seeing customers starting to ask for clean and simple designs, because the past few years we've seen like fluted panels, arches and all that, but we're slowly seeing that go away.
Okay.
So minimalist is something that a lot of customers have been asking for recently. Clutter free, they want it to look spacious, to look
Right.
clean, to look zen.
Yes. There you go.
Okay, no furniture.
And I mean, it's easier for you as well. Right? It's
Actually, I don't know whether it is or not.
No, but
What
it's
do you
also
think?
easier for resale as well. I feel if you are not doing your curved arches and stuff like that, because the next person that comes in may not want that
Yeah.
curved arch, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost like a blank canvas, but very polished.
Correct. But minimalist is difficult because customers want a house to look minimalist, but they want storage everywhere.
Oh,
Yeah.
hidden storage.
So that's
Good
where
point.
it becomes more complex.
right.
Okay.
Storage.
Yeah, storage is so important though.
Yeah.
So important.
Storage is a
And
big
especially,
thing.
I mean, if you're living in a small place.
Yeah, but for anywhere. I mean, you want things hidden.
I still have my bachelor pad, by the way,
Ah.
which needs to be renovated.
Redone. There you go.
Yes.
You're keeping it just in case. All right. We've been talking to, I'll just stop there. Lucas and Christopher of Waken.com. Thanks so much for being here with us
Thank
this
you.
morning, guys.
Thank you so
guys.
much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Go big or go home.